In the Circuit Court for the 9th Judicial Circuit in and for Orange County, Florida, State of Florida versus Casey Marie Anthony. As to case number 2008 CF 15606-0. As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. So
Casey Anthony is a perfect example of modern-day trials which have not been looked at critically. Kaylee Anthony was found in a swamp 6 months after her disappearance, so badly deteriorated that the cause of her death could not be determined. Not only did Anthony use her computer to search how to make chloroform 84 times, but just a month after her verdict and trial was announced, this 25-year-old single mother was taking part in hot body contests and got a tattoo with the words Bella Vita, which in Italian mean beautiful life. Maybe this doesn't sound like enough concrete evidence, but what about the smell experts agreed was the smell of a decaying body, as well as a long strand of hair which was also found in the trunk of the car? When asked about these facts, Anthony's lawyer argued, that's not the smell of a rotting body, but of rotting garbage.
In the Circuit Court of the 18th Judicial Circuit in and for Seminole County, Florida, State of Florida versus George Zimmerman. Verdict, we the jury find George Zimmerman not guilty. So say we all foreperson.
George Zimmerman is claimed to use a force which was, quote, necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm. In a USA Today article about the court case, it explains that legal analysts were actually not very surprised at the verdict because the prosecutors did not prove their case as best they could. Prosecutors never argued that there was any racial profiling going on, but only criminal profiling. Zimmerman had prejudged this criminal and shot a 17-year-old boy on the phone with his girlfriend, trying to grab his Skittles and iced tea. It was reported time and time again that if the prosecutors were able to prove that, in fact, Zimmerman did not have any grounds to pull out his gun because there was no real danger, justice may have been served in court that day.
Now, sentencing proceedings will start as soon as today. Sinclair's lawyers say that he should not get any jail time. They say those mistakes that he made, he's acknowledged, wouldn't even be a crime in civilian life. His defense team tells CBS News he would agree to retire as a lieutenant colonel. That's 2 rungs below his current rank. And they say that would, Charlie and Nora, cost him more than $1 million in total retirement pay.
Jan, thanks.
In an extreme contrasting case, Brigadier General Jeffrey A. Sinclair was reported to be one of the highest-ranking U.S. military officers who was court-martialed with sexual assault charges and inappropriate relationships. Initially, he was looking at time in jail. The charges were dropped when he ultimately pleaded guilty to inappropriate relationships. Sinclair was docked $20,000 in pay and benefits. Yes, infidelity is completely wrong, especially within the military, where officers should be representing our country. But for the military to withhold such a large amount of money from an officer because of personal matters is most definitely on the extreme side. Sinclair's wife, Rebecca Sinclair, was quoted in an open letter saying that she did not want her husband to be further punished by the Army with a reduction in his pension and other benefits. Even Sinclair's wife saw the need for dismissal of the case and for it to be dealt in a private manner.
I love you, Lord, I truly do, but I didn't know how I would make it without you, and I want to thank you, Jesus, thank you for your love.
It was a moment 32 years in the making, as Mary Virginia Jones was released from prison today, 3 decades after being convicted of a crime she didn't commit. Jones pled guilty at a hearing to involuntary manslaughter, changing her sentence to 11 years and freeing her from incarceration.
In another story of unreasonable measures taken by our nation's law is Mary Virginia Jones, who was known to her loved ones as Mother Mary. Jones was put in jail for 32 years and was just released last month. In 1981, Moses Willis, Jones's boyfriend at the time, shot at her and her daughter, and threatened to kill them both if they went to the police. A week later, when Willis forces Jones to drive a car to a back alley where Willis shoots the two men he had just kidnapped, she got a chance to run and did just that. A single mom without any form of protection for her daughter and herself would definitely not have made her first stop be the police department. Jones's case was only looked at again recently because Southern California's Post-Conviction Justice Project took the time to reevaluate the large impact battered women syndrome holds on women's emotional and critical state of thinking. According to the law, Jones should have arrived at the police station and explained what happened. But to put this woman in prison without parole for trying to protect her daughter and herself is unjust in every sense.